Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks only gambling show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I am joined by this stellar crew. Wilson, I used the same joke last week, and I don't care, Wilson. It ain't about me. It ain't about you. It is about the money line rainmaker from Montana, Adam Emmerich. This is 4 weeks in a row, the man has won PNW Prop Stars. And for those out there that don't know it yet, we just focus on the Seahawks game coming up this week. We give you our top bets. We look at the props. We look at the whole thing already, and we have a lot of fun analyzing our Seahawks in a brand new way. Last week, I threw it to Adam and said, it's not about us. Wilson, Adam could wait. He's won 4 in a row. Wilson, what in the heck are we doing this week so we can get ourselves off the schneid here, get back in the winning bucket? How are we going to get the bad juju on Adam? Because he's got all the juju this year. The Let's Ride curse, 4 weeks in a row with this thing. What can you and I do to throw a spoke into Adam's flywheel here?
Well, I got a few tricks up my sleeve, but I want to save them for when after Adam shares his bets. But I do want to say, I think it's time we change the name of this show to PNW Prop Star, because there's one man who's running things here right now, and that's Adam.
Yeah, he is running the asylum for sure. Hey, listen, they wearing the crown, and we say heavy is the head, but Adam, you're doing well with it 4 weeks in a row. So we will look at last week's bets, as we get going. But before we do that, how are you feeling going into this week with the G-men coming up to, the PNW, your side of the country?
Yeah, feel pretty confident about it. This is one of the most wildly overrated teams in the entire league, and they're completely one-dimensional. Now, that could be a hard dimension to shut down their running game, but I think if you are just a one-dimensional team, you should be able to be contained. They've played a lot of close games. Eventually, that catches up with you. They might, like I said, be the biggest frauds in the NFL. Like I said on the flagship show, whoever loses this game is officially not real. So yeah. Hawks need to win this one. But, in regards to my bets from this last week, boys, I'm just saying that maybe I could change my nickname from the Moneyline Rainmaker to the Moneyline Blizzard Maker. Not only because it's gotten cold and it's snowing here now, but I'm just coming up with storms like each and every week. It's not a drizzle, man. Like these are big bets hitting.
Okay. Wilson, did you have something to
add? No, I agree.
Oh, cool. I'm just hearing things now, which is good because I'm a quarter of a beer in, so it's about right for me. And we will look at these and the cool part about I listened to the flagship, and yeah, you and Brandon went back and forth quite a bit on like, are the Giants at all for real? I also like to look at this game as a potential coach of the year bowl. I feel like whoever wins this game, that coach is, I mean, if the Giants win this game and go 7-1, then, sans that Cardinals like collapse, which you called for, Adam, then it's like, polish a trophy, get it ready for Dable and the Giants. If they just cruise into the playoffs at 7-1, it's pretty damn hard to miss the playoffs at 7-1. It starts to become like you should make the playoffs, especially in the new system, which pretty much, basically if you're decent, you make it nowadays. If we could win this thing, I think Coach Carroll at 5-3 is sitting in pole position because he's got the gravitas and he's got the media behind him now. People want to cheer for Carroll. All of a sudden, after years of hating, it's funny, right? Years of hating on the dude, he's become the hero of the day. So it's going to be very interesting. If we can get the W, I think he vaults into position, which, by the way, boys, since this is a gambling show, pre-season, I took a bet, Coach Carroll to win Coach of the Year. I have to go relook. I think I got plus 4,000. Now, I didn't bet much on it. I put a couple of shekels I had, but I own the ticket, the golden ticket right now. So Coach of the Year, bowl, let's rock and roll. All right, so let us look at last week's performance. We dropped a few hints as to, more than a few hints, who did what and when already. And, there it is. I think everybody could see it. Can I get a head nod? Yes. All right, we're seeing it there. All right, so listen, circle takes the square down the middle. We called him Alf last week. The Hollywood square, Jim J. Bullock for the block, the whole thing already. Adam is the champion. I put the little 4 for 4 in the weekly bets, and he's won 4 weeks in a row. A 4-bagger times 2, that's 16 in some mathematics. All right, Adam, take it away. Of all these, always love to ask which one or two was the one you were like, yeah, dude, I knew that was happening, and it came through.
Yeah, I was really excited for my no field goals under 25.5 yard bet to hit after getting
redemption
screwed on that last week. So that was fun. There was a redemption bet in that one for sure. But the one that I felt really confident about, and then you combine it with plus 400 for the odds, Eckler and Walker to combine for 200 combined yards and 2 TDs. Like, that just seemed like a no freaking brainer. The way that the Chargers used Eckler, and he did his part, and then Walker went off. That they covered that easily. That was my one that I felt the most confident about in a lot of ways, and also kind of the longest shot out of my regular 3-down bets.
Yeah, to get plus 400 on any of those 3-down bets is quite a handsome payout. And to remind folks, bet 1, bet 2, bet 3, $10 a pop. The Fail Mary is $1 scratcher, $1 bet has to be plus 1,200. I almost said 1,200 odds or longer on that one, which, by the way, Adam hit that one too. And it hit that beautiful little window there for plus 1,600. So Adam was up, I think, the math I did earlier, I think you ended up a $31 play. You netted $124 or so, right around there. Basically 4 extra money on the week, which is just tremendous. And Adam, as I think about this, well, Wilson, what do you think? Do you think the woman in the end zone giving Ken Walker the double birds, do you think maybe she was actually just saying, hey, Adam hit his prop, the two TDs combined, 200 yards combined? Maybe she was just double birding it because she knew she's probably a PNW Prop Star, like super fan, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, we're popular not just among Seahawks fans, but all teams out there. And I think they're actually the real photo of the lady in the end zone. She wasn't flipping off Ken Walker. She was holding up a sign.
Oh.
And her fingers just happened to be in front. And it said, "Fuck catfish you, Adam." So for what it's worth, I think Ken Walker's got it all wrong. It wasn't about him. It was about Adam, our prop star of the week. So
okay, got it. Okay, that makes sense. And of course, people watch it from other states and cities because we're talking about the game. Like the Giants fans should be tuning in to get this knowledge because, hey, we want to lose, but you guys could lose, Giants fans, and still make money. See how that works? It's actually better for your deal. Wilson, you went 3 for 4. And in fact, I would say 3 for 3, the $10 bets, boom, boom, boom. Any other week, any other given Sunday, you're probably wearing the crown. But, my man from Amsterdam over there, 4 for 4. However, yours, is there one or two that you were, super proud of or really locked in and thought it was an easy smash spot?
I mean, I thought the DK was really, really, I thought that was a lock. Unfortunately, it happens in a way you don't want it to with him leaving the game. But even the way, the lack of success they were having trying to get the ball to him, and it just wasn't working out. I really don't think he would have hit 68.5, even if he'd stayed in the game. But I felt really solid about that one, and it hit. So
yeah, no, nicely done. And you definitely made some good money this week as well. So good job by you. I'm going to skip mine and say that, Noah Fant, it'd be cool if he attempted to catch balls sometimes and then held onto balls. That'd be super cool. So I little reveal, I won't be betting on any tight ends this week, probably for the first time this year. So a little foreshadowing. All right. So now we're on to week 8, which is cool. And we got the Giants coming up to the PNW. It's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, folks, if you are betting, it's supposed to be a little sloppy weather, right? It's supposed to rain. The rain is in the forecast, about 80%. We'll see what that means, and we'll see what maybe we think about that as a whole as well. Hey, this is like a golf tournament. It's a golf match. It's the 5th week that he's going to defend this thing back to back to back to back. Adam will have honors. It's bet 1 time, Mr. Adam. What do you got? What are you leading out with, and why do you like it?
Okay. Well, I chose all these bets, and I keep completely forgetting that it's going to be a piss poor day in terms of weather. So this could play a factor in all my bets going to crap here. But basically, my first bet, I'm taking all plus odds bet this week. Every single bet.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Go
Let
big.
it ride. Let it ride.
So my first bet is Geno over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this game. if you look at him throughout the season, he has thrown 2 or more touchdowns in 5 out of the 7 games. It is much more likely that he'll get there than not. And I think with the Seahawks running the ball up and down the field on the Giants defense, it's going to start to open up the pass game, and they're going to score points in this game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put up 27 plus points. So that's where I was at with that. So I get plus 100 for Geno, over 1.5 passing TDs.
So 100 right on the nose. So for folks out there, a $10 bet, you get $20 back. So $10. But remember, typically you got to pay the house something. So actually, when you're at plus 100, it actually, kind of feels like because you don't got to be minus 105 or minus 110. So it really is a plus bet in that way. All right. And, I just quickly on the weather, I also think that feels pretty good to me. 2 touchdowns. I do not fear this Giants defense. We should move the ball pretty successfully. So I think Geno, I don't think I've ever seen the dude throw in the rain yet. Maybe he did last year and I just missed it, but I just don't get the sense that he's going to be like a dude who can't do that. Just can't, unless it's a terrible downpour with the high winds. But I don't think that's exactly in the forecast. I think it's a little bit more intermittent, just kind of a wet day out there. And hey, it's Seattle. There's no doubt he's thrown a ball in bad weather before. So, all right, now it's over to me actually, before it goes to Wilson. So my first bet, boys, is the number one that I feel the most confident in. Kenneth Walker III, K9 as they call him, over 18.5 rushing attempts. And I have to pay minus 115. So not tragic. So if he rushes the ball 19 times or more, his bet hits. Vegas seems to think it should happen. Besides Seattle getting totally thrown off their game plan, I don't, knock on wood, bad things happening. I won't even say those words. I don't see how he doesn't run the ball 19 times. I feel like our game plan has gone off the rails if he doesn't run the ball 19 times. So that's my first. Wilson, I see your head nodding. It seems like you like that one.
Yeah, I mean, partially nodding my head to agree that you shouldn't even think those words.
Correct.
And I'm not thinking those words, by the way. I'm just quoting Clinton here, so blame him. I like it. If like you said, our game plan's off the rails if he's not getting 20 rushes at least. So yeah, all on board with that.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, there'd be one way I could see this going sideways for you, man, and that's just if the Seahawks really struggle to stop the Giants running game and they just don't have the ball that much, and it might be difficult to get to 19 carries at that point. But I would think that it should happen. I feel like it's a pretty solid bet.
Yeah, you're right. If the Giants can have long drives, right, and just like I think the math would end up being like time of possession. Giants are 35, 36, 30, 37 minutes, and the Seahawks have to, pass more to catch up or something like that. Yeah, we could be in some doo-doo on that one, but I think we'll be A-okay, because I just don't think that's how it's going to go. I think we're going to control the game. All right, Wilson, you're up on your first bet. What do you got, dude?
I'm going in a different direction with the Kenneth Walker bet, but I'm actually going under 13.5 receiving yards for Ken Walker at minus 120. The usual lines here are minus 115 for the over and under, but the money's moved towards the under here. I think the weather's a factor. I also think, why throw the ball to Ken Walker when you could just hand it off to him? They haven't really involved him in the passing game yet, and I don't see why he would have over 14 or over 13.5 receiving yards, especially in a not terrible, but a wet game. Just hand it to him. Yeah. There's no reason to get him involved throwing it. And Dallas seems to be the more preferred receiving back in those situations anyways. So
what do you think, Adam? What do you think of the youngins' first play?
This is why Wilson hit on 3 bets last week. This is solid. It's just not Ken Walker's forte, catching the ball out of the backfield. Not to say that he can't do it. I think he can, but the Seahawks don't seem all that interested in doing it. And they really like pushing the ball down the field a little bit. And I think those possession type routes that the running back gets targeted on like little swing passes and things like that, that's all been kind of funneled more through the tight end group this year in a lot of ways. So solid bet. I think that's got a huge probability of hitting.
I mean, if we could ever screen successfully, it'd be a bad bet. We can't. We can't. Even when we had one last week with Marquise Goodwin set up, and that was an actually good wide receiver screen. It gets called back, right? So it feels good to me too. It's one that I'm not rooting against you per se.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if that gets incorporated and it's a loss, because that would equate to some, but hey, you get Ken Walker out in space with a football. Good things have been happening, so it'd be cool to see him smash it. But I like the bet though. All right, so I'm up on bet number 2, dudes. Okay, I know that this is the Saquon and Daniel Jones run amok game, and that's what we have to stop. I know that that's what this is. This bet is me banking on kind of putting my money where my mouth is, that the run defense specifically has been playing better and better and better. Back to the Saints game, and then really played well against Arizona and played exceptionally well versus the Chargers. What did he have? Eckler 34 yards or something running, and then a jillion and a half yards receiving, but that's the way it goes. So I'm taking Saquon under 81 and a half. Got to pay 115 for it. I think Saquon has been over this number 4 of 7 games. So Adam, going back to you kind of threw that out earlier as part of one of your bets. He's gone over it more often than he has not. A couple times he's been right around there, like 83 yards, 86 yards, something like that. He's got a couple where he was like 160 because he's Saquon. He's going to do that as well. It's this one might be more my heartstrings being like, if we do this, I think we pretty much win this game. So I'm kind of putting my heart where my money is. Probably a bad decision, but Saquon under 81 and a half, paying a little bit, 115 for it. Wilson, what do you think? Are you feeling like we're going to contain Saquon, or am I fool's gold here?
I am steering clear of that one, Clinton. I think Adam and I are in the same boat here. We might be a little less optimistic about the defense, but I think even if we're really a top 10 defense, which we aren't, but even if we were, I think Saquon is a top 3 back in the NFL right now. And I'm not saying it's impossible to keep him under that number, but I don't think I'd put any money on it. And I'm actually betting on Saquon getting some yards later, so we'll talk about that.
Nicely. All right. Adam, anything on my Saquon, or do you want to let Wilson go and get back to it later? Your call. Dealer's choice.
Two quick things.
Yeah.
So the improvement in the running game over the last couple of games, the last 2 games have been against teams that just don't run the ball and really kind of can't run the ball. So it's been better, and I hope it's because they actually have gotten better and not that they just went up against teams that couldn't do it. Secondly, this would be kind of a question to the two of you, actually. Basically, you're not going to have to worry about the passing game for the most part. We all know that already. So now it all comes down to all that RPO nonsense and option football that they run. And that's what they do almost exclusively. So I'm thinking you pick 1 or 2 guys to just take out in this game. Do you just take out Daniel Jones's running and let Saquon do his thing? Or do you take out Saquon and let Daniel Jones try to beat you with his legs? And because I think that's the way you go about it. I'd be curious which one you guys would choose, because I would probably choose taking out Daniel Jones, because it's his little chunk stuff that happens that are kind of moving the chains for him and all that, and let Saquon go, which I think would be a little bit detrimental to your bet.
Yeah, it might be. Wilson, what's your take? If you had to choose one weapon to kill, which one do you think the Seahawks will try their might to try their best to diminish?
Well, I think we've really, let's talk about improved defense in the last couple of games. We gave up 100 rushing yards to Kyler Murray. So I think the Seahawks are going to want to go after Jones, like Adam mentioned, because I think if you bank on trying to stop Saquon, you could get burned because you might just not stop him. But if you want to stop Jones in the running game, you can. So I think that's probably the direction that they should go in.
Yeah, I'll answer this the same way, I think, and it hurts my bet. So I'm hurt. So I'm sad now, guys. I think I might have put $10 down the toilet, but that's okay. Yeah, I would choose to stop Jones because of the Taysom Hill game. It's like that being on record. You can't do that again. You can't let that dude do those kind of things. And so I would do more like concentration on that. and figure out a way to make sure that that's not what burns us, which would mean Saquon would, run a little more freely, get a little more yardage, et cetera, et cetera. So I hate my bet is what it boils down to. But I do want to say though, they're missing at least 2 blockers, right? Evan Neal's out. I think it's Bellinger, and how you say his name, but the tight end I think they got in the 4th round this year. He got his eye poked out essentially, like
Oh, I
really
saw that. Yeah.
nasty injury. And he's out for a while. And he's like a Will Disley type tight end. He's a run blocker, and he's a good catcher. And I
thought he had his like eye socket broken. He had his eye poked out.
Yeah. Well, no, like he had like his eye socket orbital bone broken, but like the finger like hit his eyeball. His eye was bleeding. Like his eyeball was bleeding. Yeah. So he's, he had a gnarly injury. It wasn't poked out like what is that? Any Given Sunday, I think, or whatever whatever the movie is.
He wasn't a pirate now.
No,
Okay.
No, he's not a pirate yet. Not a pirate yet. But nasty. With that, they're missing dudes on the line. So, let's see. We're healthy, they're not. So let's stop Saquon. Okay, that's enough on Saquon. But I think now we're over to, I believe we are to Wilson for his bet number 2. Wilson, what you got?
Well, DK's out. The team has shown an interest in getting D. Eskridge more involved recently.
Ooh, talk to me.
Not that I liked all of his involvement last week, but I think he might get a little bit more involved now. And I like taking over 2.5 receptions for Eskridge, not only because of that, but also because I'm getting paid. It's at plus 145. So I really like the odds there. And, if D. Eskridge gets more involved in this game and holds on to the football, I'm happy about it. So that's where I'm headed.
Nice. Adam, what do you think about little D. Eskridge? Not D. We don't have DK probably. So what about DK? D. Eskridge. What do you think?
Yeah, this is the time. We've been waiting for D. Eskridge now for basically a year and a half. And he hasn't had a lot of opportunities because of injury his first year. This year, it's been kind of up and down. But with DK out, I'm sure he's going to be the number 3 receiver at this point. It's time, man. It's time to show out. And I think he grabs a bull by the horns and actually shows out for this game. I really do. I've been waiting for his breakout game since he was drafted. I love his skill set. I hate his fumble from last week, like Wilson said. But I could see this being the D breakout game. I can see why Vegas is making it plus 145. I mean, we haven't seen it in his career, really.
Right.
But if there were to be a time, here it is.
Yeah, and I do wonder how much of Marquise Goodwin doing what he did last week detracts from the possibility of D. Eskridge getting these kind of numbers. But we're not talking about huge numbers. Like 3. It's these kind of bets to me. I don't know about you guys. When I take like a overall reception volume, I'm always really wanting one like in that first drive. You want that first one, right? Yeah. It's like you want to just come on, put it on the board. Like, I want to know. It's like I want to know that Geno cares about him. Like Geno knows he's there. Geno's like, I'm going to get you the ball today, D. So this one I'm going to be cheering hard for, Wilson. I want to know that Geno knows about the connection and has got to get him the ball early and often. So I'll be cheering for it. I think Vegas has it placed correctly. But I hope it comes through because, man, we just, we're well into year 2 now, and it is, show up time, D. It is time. I think Carroll and company have been patient with you, really patient with him in some ways, barring the injury stuff. He's gotta show out, man. So I hope that hits for you, dude. All right. So Adam, you're up on bet 2. What do you got cooking?
All right. My second bet. I'm all on these kicker bets, man. I'm into them. They make a lot of sense to me. Mine is Myers for over 2.5 point after attempts. So
I love this. I love it. Yep.
And you get plus 120 for it. I mean, so all you're betting on is the Seahawks to score 3 touchdowns.
Well,
that's it.
But he's got to make the PATs though.
He's vastly more likely to make them than miss them.
I agree.
Like by far.
Yep.
And I don't have to score just one way. We can score passing. We can score running. We can score special teams. We can score defense. All that has to do is be at least 21 points. I think that's a slam dunk, man. I'll take Vegas's money. Thank you.
I like this, but my final score prediction was 27-19 Seahawks. So this like really grooved into 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. And so like mentally I was already there. In fact, I had 4 bets written down today. This is the one I scratched out to take a different third down bet. However, I had that on my sheet as well. So I do dig it. Wilson, do you think that Mr. Myers, number one, do we score 3 touchdowns? Number 2, does Myers go 3 for 3 and we're not doing any 2-point conversions or a missed PAT?
Yes, we score 3 touchdowns. Yes, he misses a PAT, and I end Adam's 4-week streak, and I take over as PNW Prop Star of the
Week. Wishful thinking, young man. Wishful thinking.
That's it. Yeah. Back to that sign that lovely woman was holding in LA there. All right, so now we are on to third down. Wilson, you get the first third down volley. What are you betting on?
I'm bringing in something really spicy this week. All right.
Careful.
It's spicy.
It's spicy.
It's spicy.
This if the Danger Witch was a bet, this is the bet. It would be right here. The World Series is starting tonight. I'm feeling like I want to swing for the fences.
Let's do it.
And so I have the weekly special this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's plus 1,400. I'm taking a Fail Mary bet on third down. And it's Walker and Barkley both got to get over 100 rushing yards, and they both got to get at least 1 rushing touchdown at plus 1,400. A little similar to the one Adam had last week, but different composition. Both guys got to break, at least half of the bargain there. Yeah, I am feeling like I like putting $10 on this because you're getting a massive payout if you do get it.
Yeah,
and got to do something to end Adam's reign of terror here. So I'm taking a chance.
Oh man, he's going all Robespierre on you, my man. So, all right. So, but plus 1,400 to recap that for the good folks. Walker and Saquon have to go over 100 yards each, yes. Not combined, each rushing, and they each have to score a touchdown. Whereas Adam last week had this little combo meal deal. Didn't matter who did it. It was just put into a pot. And with that, I think, Adam, you were plus 400. This is plus 1,400. There's a reason for that. So before you take your third down swing and a reaction to the young lads, gumption, if you will.
I don't know. Have you guys ever lived this dangerously before? Because I haven't. I don't know that this might be even too dangerous to talk about this bet, but I think it's a fabulous bet for plus 1,400. Like, I would have done this for the same plus 400 that I did the combined total of rushing yards and TDs that I did last week. I think it's a pretty damn good possibility that they both get over 100 yards, especially in a environment where maybe the weather's playing a factor, and just have to score 1 TD, man. I mean, it's not a slam dunk by any chance, but for those odds, damn, man. Okay, I see you, Wilson. I got you.
That's it. I do like that. Wilson was like, hey, we're not going to end this thing by piddle paddling around the money line here, right? It's like, we got to go big. So, hey, Wilson, for the record, glad you're the one doing it. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, Adam, you're up on your third down bet as you murder your thirst with the liquid death, right? Liquid
death, baby.
Liquid death.
Just murdered my thirst. I'm about to murder my third down bet. Like, this is awesome. So I truly believe that the Seahawks win this game fairly handily. It just seems like a foregone conclusion in my mind. I just think the matchup is actually fairly advantageous for them because I don't think that the Giants can score enough points to keep up. I just don't. And banking on the fact that Seattle scores a lot of points, banking on the fact that they have gotten out to early starts and fast starts, I have Seattle wins both halves plus 265 because I think they do get out early and end up winning that first half. And then, by God, I think they win the freaking game. So I'm going with that, man. Plus 265. Seattle wins both halves. I think this is going to be a fairly dominant performance from the team.
One reason I like this bet a lot. Number one, I think we win the game, right? And it's football and yada, and any given Sunday, blah blah blah. Maybe we don't. Whatever. Vegas is basically saying it's for the most part a pick 'em +3 because of the home team, et cetera, et cetera. Seattle giving 3. I think we win this game. I really do. And we have been a good first half team, even when we defer in most games. That's the one piece for me is like, okay, we defer a lot. if we win the coin toss, we will defer. So you're giving that team, sometimes that one extra event, if you will, in that first half. The odds would say you would be down in the first half then, typically, right? But we've started really well, and we've done a nice job of like curbing teams' ability to go get 7 out of the gate, keeping them to 3, and then we're scoring on the comeback. So I like it, man. I think at plus 265, I think it's a good bet. I will go over to my third down bet real quickly too. It's along a similar line on something you said about like not thinking the Giants going to score that many points. So I got the Giants under 19.5, paying me plus 130. So I'm thinking the game's like 27-19, 27 something. Sure. Could they get to 3 touchdowns or 3 field goals and a touchdown? And I think that would bust me, or get very close to it. Sure. But I don't think the Giants are scoring 25, 27, 30 easily, which means I'm hanging around this bet at plus 130. I kind of like that in the rain. I'm grooving on that one. So either you dudes, Wilson, either commenting on Adams or mine, what do you think about kind of us going down the path of the Giants not scoring too many points in general?
Yeah, well, I have one. I don't hate Adam's bet, but I have one, my Fail Mary, that has a portion of it that's going to go against that. So I'll save that for later.
Boo. Boo.
But Clinton, I agree. I actually originally, for my third down bet, I had the one I mentioned as my actual third down bet as my Fail Mary, and then I had Giants 21-30 points band as my third down bet, but I changed my mind because I agree with you. I just don't think I feel very confident them in breaking 20 points. And I think you got the right reasons there. So I like that bet, and you're getting paid. So,
and I'm getting paid plus 130. All right. So now we're on to our Fail Mary, which again, $1 scratcher, which again, Adam hit for the second time in 7 weeks. 2 times you've hit the Fail Mary now. There's only been 3 hits so far. Wilson has 1. That was the Colby Parkinson touchdown, which was wonderful. I celebrate that. Well, I celebrate the entire collection, to be frank. Adam, two Fail Marys now, including last week, plus 1,200 or longer. What have you cooked up in the kitchen for this week's Fail Mary?
So Seahawks win both halves, right? That was my third down bet. I'm doubling down on that, man. Seahawks win every quarter, plus 1,500.
Love it.
I just think they're the far superior team. I really do. And it's interesting to see Vegas have the East Coast bias slip into their lines here. I mean, the Seahawks just absolutely throttled the Chargers. And the Chargers are easily a better team than the Giants. I think we could all agree on that. Way more talent on the defensive side. And even with their offensive struggles, they still are a better offensive team.
Well, what about, quickly on that piece, though, how much does coaching matter? Because I do not think the Chargers are a very well-coached team. And I think the Giants are a very well-coached organization.
I've heard that point made, and it is an excellent point. And I love that people are using the phrase coaching matters. I mean, it's something we've talked about on the flagship show for years with Pete Carroll.
Right? Who would have thunk it? Yeah.
Who would have thunk it, right? Yeah. But coaching matters to a point. To a point. A coach, usually when he comes in, a new guy like a Dable, comes in and takes the reins and gets them out to a fast start. It's because the rest of the league doesn't really know what they're about to do. He actually gets the guys to believe, brings a little bit different juice to the building, but all it takes is for it to start to unravel for an entire quarter, and it all just kind of goes away. Eventually talent actually, wins out here in this league, and they are just devoid of it, not to mention the injuries. So as much as I totally respect Dable, I think he's a heck of a football coach. I liked him in Buffalo. Thought it was a hell of a hire for the Giants.
Yeah.
This is smoke and freaking mirrors. Like, it can't go on forever.
Well, I think the one thing that certainly, like, we're playing you hear the word sustainable. Like, we're playing the same way consistently and quite sustainable football. I think even back on 3 and 3 out when we covered the Falcons game, I was like, hey, we should extend that after that game. Like, we should extend Geno now, because what he's doing is it's very replicable. You could see process wise, and the whole team feeds off of that. And then our defense got better and they're catching up. The Giants, to me, it felt like week 1 versus the Broncos, like fumbles at the goal line. So we win. But okay. At some point, the coach turns back to a pumpkin. The luck will run out at some point. And I think the doomsday clock is kind of a ticking against the Giants this week. So at plus 1,500, was that right? Plus 15?
Correct.
I think it's a really good bet because I think we're sincerely better. With that, Seattle has to avoid, for you to win this, Seattle's got to avoid the oh crap stupidity for that one time a game where this would just blow that bet because we do something so dumb and we give away a quarter because we just can't get out of our own way. But at some point, that's also like, well, that should go away at some point too. Like Pete Carroll should take away the dumb playbook at some point. You would think.
I don't know, man. He hasn't taken it away his entire tenure. I mean, they don't play normal football, but I mean, you did talk about Geno a little bit and wanting to extend him after the Atlanta game. So it's something we've talked about a lot on the flagship show. And I would love to hear both Wilson's and Clinton's side on this. Like, I mean, is it time in your mind? Are you ready to go all in on Geno? Or are you saying, yes, resign him, but yes, still take a top 5 quarterback in the draft? Or are you like, hey, I'm all in on Geno and draft a bunch of defensive dudes or moral linemen or whatever? Well, how do you guys feel about this?
Wilson, why don't you take it?
Yeah, I think Geno's a top 12 quarterback in the NFL right now. He's playing really, really good football, and he's going to be expensive to re-sign. I don't hate keeping him on the team, but I hate how much we're going to have to pay him. And I know we have 50 million in cap space, but we've got a lot of other holes on this team, especially on defense, that we need to fill. How about a linebacker? A linebacker would be great. A really good linebacker. There'll be some of those available, I'm sure. And so I don't love keeping Geno just because we're going to have to pay him $20 million, and I don't want to do that. And people forget Drew Lock is a serviceable quarterback. He's a low-end starter in the NFL. And so if we have to let Geno walk and play Lock while we develop a prospect from the Broncos' #1 overall pick, I'm fine with that. So I really like Geno. He's, surpassed all of my expectations, as I'm sure is the case for you guys too. But all in is not how I would describe my feelings towards keeping him on the team.
So I will, in probably me true fashion, I'm going to throttle to the other side of this. I'm all in. After the Atlanta, I think it's getting more expensive each week. We don't do this. That's my take. After the Atlanta game, I think he was probably somewhere in the 15 to 18 mil per year range. After the Saints game, Detroit game, keeps on creeping up. Right now, if I'm Geno, I'm not signing for anything less than 25 million a year, 3 years, and I want 40 million guaranteed because other people are making 50. It's still a bargain at that position. But also what I would say is Geno has never made that kind of money. And now he's where he is. He just turned 32, right? He just turned 32. I think if you put a $40 million check in front of Geno right now and said, hey, we love you. You get this system. You're still a pretty young man with little tread on your tires. Here's 3 years, 75 million. Here you go. $40 million bag. And we can get out year 3 and shuffle money. If it doesn't work out for some reason, get out from under it. I think he signs. I think we have a quarterback who is having the Rich Gannon / even Steve Young didn't really get going until he was 30 years old. Didn't really get going until then. So I'm in. Adam, I'm not sure if you came to any mathematical conclusions, but 375, 40 mil guaranteed. Do it. He's good.
I'm in up to 30 million a year.
There it is.
That's where I'm at. But I wouldn't just not draft a quarterback. I don't think I'd take it with one of the top picks. I'd go edge defender or, one of those positions that are really difficult to acquire and you have to pay a lot of money for somewhere along the team, right? So that kind of helps to offset that you're paying Geno about mid-tier starter money for upper tier quarterback play. I think that's a great value. The one thing that I do worry about is him hitting the open market here this offseason and somebody just throws a stupid number at him.
It takes one team. There's 31 other teams that being your point. It takes one to be like, we don't care. Here's $40 million.
Yeah. What if the Giants come out next year and they're like, yeah, 45 mil, come on.
Right.
We'll take you for 3 years. I mean, they could. And those are the type of teams that like they're looking to improve quickly. I mean, after the Broncos cut Russell Wilson, maybe they make Geno a big offer. You never know. But
careful.
Yeah.
Spicy takes.
Yeah. But anyhow,
I love it.
I was curious to where you guys are at because you hear a lot of different people, a lot of different opinions on it, and I don't know that anybody's wrong. I think there's some interesting ways that the Seahawks get to go here this next year, and all of them kind of look good.
Yeah, they look better with Geno, in my opinion, right? Quarterbacking for us. And I want the record to show after the Atlanta game, I was like, we should have this conversation. We need to have this conversation because he's good. He's consistently good. And it means everything in the NFL, right? I mean, look at the NFC. Look at the friggin' NFC. What teams are actually scary? I don't see it. I don't see it. So we have to get back to the regularly scheduled program. We still have one more Fail Mary bet for Wilson to get to, and then we'll recap the bets for the week and we'll close out. But before we do that, Wilson, Fail Mary, what do you got? Dollar scratcher plus 1,200 or more. Where are you going?
Well, I'm glad how it's worked out with Adam and I having a real big opposing Fail Mary here. So I've got Giants winning the first quarter and the first half.
Boo.
But the Seahawks winning the game. Okay, and then to push that into Fail Mary territory, I also added even number of total points, which I feel like would just be hilarious if I got burned on that. But it's put me up to 1,700 here. And the reason why I think the Giants will get out ahead early in this game is Saquon Barkley's really good. And I think we're discounting the absence of DK Metcalf and what that's going to do for the offense. He is a superstar receiver and he draws a lot of attention. He hasn't put up crazy numbers this year. He didn't put up crazy numbers last year, but he gets a lot of attention from defenses. And when we take that away, that could really cause some problems for us on offense. Now, I don't think that's the type of thing that's going to tank us the whole game, but it could take some adjustment early on. I know Lockett's is he still dealing with the hamstring? I think he's been practicing more, but him as the number one with the injury, I have questions too. So I think for a Fail Mary, I'm fine to have the Giants get out early on. And then Daniel Jones, fumble machine. I think he'll probably cough it up 3 times in the second half, and the Seahawks will run away with it, scoring an even number of total points, just like they did last week.
I do want to jump on the even part. I forget who it was in the Discord. So in the Discord, which everybody here who's listening should join, right? Getintheflock.com, just $3 a month will get you into the Seahawkers pod Discord. It's awesome. And we have a channel just for PNW Prop Stars. We have a channel for 3 in, 3 out. And I forget who it was. They made like this brilliant parlay last week. And then the last thing on the bottom of their ticket was even. And I was like, oh, like I just like probably similar to where you were, just like, let me throw this kicker on there. It just feels like the most like, Thanos snap thing to do. It's like, what is that going to be? Which is fine. It's a Fail Mary at plus 1,700. Who cares? But I do want to make sure I got it right. Giants have to be up quarter 1 and at halftime, quarter 1, quarter 2.
Yes.
Seattle wins.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm making sure we got it. Seattle wins the game. Plus 1,700 and you're raking it in. Okay. So I think let's do a quick, last thoughts before we head out here. So Adam, what, we get, it's raining. We think it's going to rain on Sunday. Is that going to, how does it throttle this game? Do you think it does big impact, little impact? What do you think is going to happen if it's like, pretty good weather throughout this game?
I think it's going to have little impact. I mean, from most of the history of the most recent games with Seattle here at home, when it's been raining, it's like a few spits and spurts, maybe a drizzle. Like it's never been one of those monsoon games. And I just don't see it being that way. Just seems a little atypical. So if that's the case, I think both teams can operate fine with that. You heard Waldron come out in his presser, it was his presser here just on Wednesday. They asked him about wet balls and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, we were practicing. Like, it's not like anybody's going to be, caught off guard.
Yeah.
So I think they'll get through it just fine. I think it might be a little overblown, the win.
Okay. I hope it is, because I would like to see I'd hate to see a sloppy game be like to the detriment, because we're the better offensive team. Like, there's not a doubt about that. We're more dynamic offensively. So it's to the Giants, I think, advantage that it might be a little sloppy out there, in my opinion. Wilson, before we close out. So, hey, dude, it is hot. What'd you call it in Princeton? Holla week?
Hallow weekend.
Hollow weekend. Yeah. So if you were to, go out this evening, what does a young person like yourself do on Hollow weekend on a Friday night on the campus of Princeton?
Well, tonight I think I'm going to be staying in. I mentioned this before the show. Still recovering from last night's festivities, so gonna call it a night. Nice and early. Probably watch some Kenneth Walker highlights, and I'll sleep like a baby after that.
That's very nice. Yeah, the double birds lady holding the sign, the whole thing. She'll cradle you to sleep, and get you to La La Land, which is absolutely fine. Wonderful. So, gents, it's gonna be a good one. We did get a suggestion it was a YouTube comment, and I forget who it was. They said, hey, it'd be really cool if you recap all the bets, because you just ran through 9 bets and it's tough to follow all of them. So let's do it real quick. We will talk about Adams through the row, then mine, then Wilson's. I think it's a little easier that way. So Adams' first down bet, Geno over basically 1.5 touchdowns. So Geno to throw 2 touchdowns or more, plus 100. Second down bet, Myers to kick more than 2.5 PATs, right? So 3 extra points and at a plus 120, and Adams ringing that bell again. Adams' third down bet, Seattle takes both halves, half 1, half 2. They come out the victor, plus 265. His Fail Mary is Seattle wins all 4. You know what, Adam? A 4-bagger for you. You went 4 for 4. You went 4 weeks in a row. This is the perfect bet, dude. Plus 1,500 if they just win each and every quarter. Plus 1,500. All right, on to me. I've got Kenneth Walker with at least 18.5 attempts at minus 115. That's my favorite one. Here's the one I hate, and I hate myself for hating this one. Saquon under 81.5 yards. What was I thinking? Minus 115. And then I have chicken scratch is what I have, gentlemen. I have chicken scratch. Oh, Giants under 19.5 points, paying me plus 130. Oh, and I didn't say my Fail Mary. So good thing we did the recap. Good. I got Marquise Goodwin, first touchdown of the game, plus 1,700. I like Goodwin to continue the good vibes. I think Geno and him have legit chemistry, and we're not great in the red zone. I don't think Goodwin's a red zone target. I think he's outside the red zone target. So give me Goodwin on like a 20-something yard play down the sidelines to go up 7-0. And it's plus 1,700. Give Adam one of those PATs. Give me the plus 1,700, and we're moseying on. Then we got Mr. Wilson under 13.5 yards receiving for Kenneth Walker at minus 120. Pretty logical. He's going on the D train, D Eskridge, plus 2.5 receptions. So 3 receptions are over to pay him plus 145. And he's got Walker. Oh, he's got the big one, right? Walker and Barkley over 100 yards each rushing, a touchdown each in the game, plus 1,400. Talk about big balls Dixon right there. Wilson coming in with that one, big ball style. Finally, Fail Mary style. He's got, what is it? Okay, Giants leading after the first quarter, after the half, Seattle winning the game, and an even score. So needs the even flow in the PNW to make this happen at plus 1,700. We're hearkening to Pearl Jam. Gentlemen, let's go close this thing out. And Adam, I want to toss it to you. You, please, I'm out of wind here. Tell the good people how they really ought to friggin' get involved at this point, because we're doing this 5 times a week. Hit it.
Yeah, man, doing it 5 times a week. Got all sorts of cool content coming out for you guys. So be sure to check into all the different shows that we have for you. If betting's not your cup of tea, we've got something else for you. I promise you. Just real simple. Just like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And, if you want to kick us a couple bucks and get in the flock, there's lots of cool stuff that comes along with that as well. Whether that's pick'em leagues that we give out prizes, things like that, the Discord, the Ring of Honor, all sorts of amazing stuff. So just pick a way to support the show. You can't go wrong. And we actually really freaking do appreciate it more than you know. You guys are amazing. I can't believe how awesome the little flockers have been to us over the years and continue to be. Just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. And Clinton, with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Careful. Spicy.